Hi there, I'm Aman and you're watching PTO classes. So, in the in the previous video, we have done the part 1 of the fourth chapter from grade 7th English, Honeycomb, that is ashes that made the trees bloom. So, in the part 1 we have seen that how the good old couple was there and they were living under the rule of the daimyo, the landowners, the rich landowners. So the old couple, which was very nice to all the animals, also the all creatures. So it was living with a pet dog named Muko, and the couple was living very happily with their dog. They were not very rich, they were the rice farmers, and the old man used to go to his rice field. So one day he went to the rice field with Muko, and there the dog uh, took the man to a place where he scratched, and the man dug the ground and got a lot of gold. So the good old couple became rich because of the dog, and so they became very happy, and they gave a party to their neighbors. They gave money to their poor neighbors. So this way they happily lived after that incident. But there was an old couple which was very cruel also. This old couple, the good one, had neighbors which were very cruel, which were old couple which was very cruel. So they were very jealous of the wealth of that good old couple. So they thought, the cruel one thought, that we could get the gold through dog as well. So one day the couple took the dog with force, and they tried the dog to dug their ground and get them gold as well. So what happened? The dog in the ground only dug a little bit, and instead of gold, the greedy, the cruel old couple got a dead cat in place of the gold. So they become very angry, and they killed the dog, and the wife, the cruel one, the greedy one, chopped the dog into pieces, and they buried the dog there. And he was buried under pine tree. So uh, the the good couple, the good ones, they became very sad as they treated the dog like their own. So they became uh, very sad, and they mourned his death. And one night the dog's spirit came to the dreams of the good old man. So what happened? The spirit told the man that chop that pine tree where my grave is there, and turn it into a mortar in which you make the rice cake, and do this thing. So the man cut off the pine tree and turned it into a mortar. And while he was making the rice cake, and his wife was making the sauce out of beans in the rice mill, in the mill, what happened? It turned into gold coins. So the boiled rice turned into gold, the beans turned into gold, and again the good couple became rich. So the same couple, the cruel couple, which was jealous of them in the first instance, and they killed the dog, the greedy couple again became jealous, and they bought the mortar and the mill from the good couple, and they also tried to make gold in that mortar. And what happened? In place of gold coins, they got worms, and again they became very frustrated, and they turned they chopped the mortar off and used it in their fireplace. So uh, by far this much we have learned in the first part. Now see what happened after that incident. So not long after that, the good old man dreamed again. So after that incident, again the good old man got a dream, and the spirit of the dog spoke to him, telling him how the wicked people had burned the mill made from the pine tree. So the dog's spirit told the man that how the cruel people had turned the mill uh, into the fireplace, used it for fireplace, and which was made from the pine tree. So he told the owner that take the ashes of that mill, sprinkle them on the withered trees, and they will bloom again. So withered means dry, and bloom I have told you in the previous chapter, in the previous part of the chapter. So set the dog spirit that sprinkle it, and the trees will once again grow, and the bareness will go away. So the old man awoke and went at once to his wicked neighbor's house, where he found the miserable old pair sitting at the edge of their square fireplace. So the old couple was, the greedy old couple was sitting nearby the fireplace, and the man, the good one, went to their house, and they were smoking and spinning. So from time to time they warmed their hands and feet from the blaze of that fireplace. So uh, the good old man humbly asked for the ashes. He said that give me the ashes. Though the covetous couple turned up their noses at him and scolded him as if he were a thief, they let him fill his basket with the ashes. So they turned up their noses means treated him with contempt. Contempt means hate. So they treated him with anger and hate. And what happened? They let him to take the ashes, some of the ashes in the basket. So the old man took some of the ashes. On coming home, the old man took his wife into the garden. It being winter, their favorite cherry tree was bare. So in the season of winter, the trees became bare. The all the flowers, all that go away. So goes away. So what happened? He brought his wife into the garden. He sprinkled a pinch of ashes on it. So what he did, in the bare tree, he sprinkled the ashes that the dog told him to take. And what happened? He sprinkled the ashes, and lo, it sprouted blossoms until it became a cloud of pink blooms. So what happened? It became again the flower tree. So the very nice perfume smell was there in the air. The news of this filled the village. So what happened? Everyone in the village was talking about that how the old couple again made the trees bloom. So everyone ran out to see that how this wonder is happening. The covetous couple also heard this story, and gathering up the remaining ashes of the mill, kept them to make withered trees blossom. So what happened? They only gave a little amount of ashes. The rest of that remaining ashes was with them. So they thought that the magic will happen with us as well. So the covetous couple was also aware of this. The kind old man, hearing that his lord, the daimyo, the landowner, the rich landowner, the daimyo, was to pass along the high road. So the kind old man heard that the lord daimyo, the daimyo of the town, was to pass along the same road where their house was. So he heard this thing, and he set out to see him. So he thought that I will visit my master, I will visit my lord, I will see him. So taking his basket of ashes, so he took the basket of ashes with him, and which turned into the flowers last time. So he took the ashes, and as the train, the caravan of that daimyo visited their place, the train can be seen as a procession. The procession is a kafila, we call in Hindi. The procession, the long, the number of people, the huge number of mass that gathers, that procession. So he climbed up into an old withered cherry tree, the flowerless cherry tree, the fruitless cherry tree. He climbed upon that and he stood by the wayside. So he thought that I will sprinkle the ashes and it will turn into flowers on the Lord. So same thing happened. Now in the days of daimyos, it was the custom when their Lord passed by. So what happens? It was a custom during that period that whenever the daimyo passed by, the loyal people were supposed to shut up their high windows. So what was a custom that all the uh, villagers, all the localites would shut their windows to show some respect to their lord. They even pasted them fast with a slip of paper so as not to commit the impertinence of looking down on his lordship. So they even put papers on their windows so not to look down over the master. So their eyes must always be low and they should not look upon their master from that high area, from that height. So this was a custom. All the people along the road would fall upon their hands and knees. So they would kneel down in front of their master with their hands upon their knees and remain prostrate until the procession passed by. So what does prostrate means? Lying on the ground face downwards. So they used to bow down to their lord and to show the courtesy. The train drew near. So what happened? The train drew near, the procession was near, and one tall competent man, one of the tall men uh, was there. He was the tall man was marching ahead of the procession and crying out to the people by the way. So he was in front of the procession. He was leading the procession and he was crying out. He was commanding all the people to uh, get down on their knees. So he was calling them that get down on your knees, get down on your knees, and everyone would kneel down in front of the procession that was passing by. So this was the custom that whenever you saw your master, you must kneel down. So see how the people used to praise their master, how the image of the Lord, the daimyo, was in among the local people, the common villagers. So they have to show the respect, they have to show the courtesy, they have to be mannered in front of the master. So this incident shows that suddenly the leader of the van caught sight of the aged man up in the tree. So suddenly the leader of the van, the caravan, was aware of the presence of the aged, the good man in the tree. So he saw that one man is up on the tree. He was about to call out to him in an angry tone because he was looking from there. So this was a custom that no one should look to the daimyo from a height. Everyone should be below the daimyo. No one should be above the height. So he saw, the leader of the van saw that one man is up the tree and he is looking down to the master. So he was getting very angry, he was about to scold him in a angry tone, but suddenly what happened? He pretended not to notice him and passed him by. So he saw that he was such an old fellow. He had some pity on him. He thought that very old man is there, so why should I make his life miserable by telling the authority that one man is there. So he, because of the old age of the kind old man, he let him go. So he pretended that I never saw him. So when the daimyo's palanquin is the royal van cart, the palki we say in Hindi, the palanquin was there. So when the daimyo's palanquin drew near, when it was near the old man, taking a pinch of ashes from his basket, scattered it over the tree. So when the procession, then when the palanquin, the palki was near the old man, what he did? He sprinkled some of the ashes of that pine tree to a tree, over the tree. From over the tree, he sprinkled all the ashes downwards. Suddenly, so what happened when he sprinkled all the ashes, some of the ashes, the pinch of the ashes from his basket to over to the place where daimyo was there, the palanquin was there. So what happened? It burst into blossom. So it took the shape of the flowers. The ashes became flowers. So the delighted daimyo ordered the train to be stopped and go out to see the wonder. So the daimyo was very delighted that how the ashes was turning up into the uh, flower. So the daimyo ordered that his procession must be stopped at once, and they should all look out for that miracle, that how this ashes is turning into flower. Calling the old man to him, he thanked him and ordered presents of silk robes, sponge cake, fans, and other rewards to be given him. He even invited him to his castle. So, what happened? Again, the dog's good deed helped the old man. It was the dream in which the dog told his master that please take that ashes of that pine tree and sprinkle it. And what happened? It turned into flower. And what happened when the procession, when the daimyo, the rich landlord, was passing by his house? He did the same. He sprinkled some of the ashes from above the tree into the palanquin of the daimyo, where the daimyo's procession was passing by. So what happened? The ashes took the shape of the blossoms, the flowers, and the daimyo became very delighted, and again the good old couple got presents. The old couple got something because of the act of the dog. The dog again made them rich. So many presents were given, silk robes, the clothes were given, sponge cakes were given, fans were given. So many rewards were given to the old couple, and again they became wealthy, and they got something because of the act of the dog. And he was even invited to the castle of the daimyo. The castle, you all know what does castle means. The mahal, the palace of the king, the castle of the king. So the old man went gleefully home. So he was very happy. Gleefully means happily. So he was very happy that he was going into the home with such wealth and such respect being shown by the daimyo, who was the master of the town. So he was very much happy, and he shared this joy of his with his dear old wife. So again the family, the couple was benefited through the act of the dog. So here you remember that the old couple, the greedy one, also had some ashes. So see what they did out of jealousy this time. So, but when the greedy neighbor heard of it, so when the greedy neighbor got the news that how the daimyo gifted the good old couple, how they were gifted because they sprinkled ashes and it turned into flowers, so he took some of the magic ashes and went out on the highway. So the greedy couple, the greedy old man also took some ashes, the magical ashes, and went out on the highway where the procession was leading. So he went out so that he can also get some reward. So there he waited until a daimyo's train came along. So he waited until the daimyo's procession came to that place, and instead of kneeling down like the crowd, so he did, instead of all the people, like all the people were kneeling down in front of the daimyo, he climbed a withered cherry tree. He climbed a flowerless, fruitless cherry tree, and when the daimyo himself was almost directly under him. So remember one thing, that when the good couple, the good old man sprinkled the ashes, he sprinkled it just nearby the palanquin and not exactly upon the daimyo. So when the daimyo here was himself almost directly under the tree, under the greedy man, what he did, he threw a handful, lot of ashes, a large amount of ashes over the tree, which did not change a particle. So what happened? It didn't change a bit. In place of changing its shape into blossom, into flowers, it remained the same. It remained in the shape of ashes, in the form of ashes. A particle means even a little bit. So the wind blew the fine dust in the noses and eyes of the daimyo and his wife. So what happened? Because of the wind was blowing so fast, the ashes got into the nose and eyes of the daimyo and his wife, such sneezing and choking. So everyone was sneezing. The wife of daimyo and the daimyo himself were sneezing. They were having sneeze and they were choking. They were feeling breathless because of the ashes, because of the dirt. So it spoiled all the pomp and dignity of the procession. So it spoiled all the dignity that was of the daimyo, the respect that he had, um the respect that he had in the village. So everything was gone, and he became a matter of laugh. Everyone was laughing over the daimyo, that how he was sneezing and how his condition became. So the man whose business it was to cry, so the man who used to shout that people please kneel down for the daimyo, get out of the way. So the same man shouted that get down on your knees. He seized the old fool. Caught, seized means to get, to catch someone with force. He caught them with the old couple, the sorry, not the couple, the old man with force. He seized him and he shouted first of all that get down on your knees. He seized him by the collar and dragged him from the tree. So he got him down from the tree. He dragged him down to the ground from the tree and tumbled him and his ash basket into the ditch by the road. So he threw the basket and he threw the man himself into the road, and he started beating him very badly. Then he started beating him soundly. Soundly means very, very in a very bad manner. So he started beating him very badly. He left him for dead. So he left him for dead means he made him suffer a lot near his death. So he beat him near to his death. So he left him in that state where he was almost dead. He beat him a lot. So what happened after it? Thus the wicked old man died in the wood. So he was near to his death and he died in the ground. So but the kind friend of the dog dwelt in peace and plenty. So what happened? The end of the old man was very bad. The greedy old man was very bad. He killed the dog, and now he also died the same way. And he was beaten by the men of the daimyo, and he was left in the mud to die. He died a very bad death. So what happened? The good man who was very kind to the animal, kind to the dog, he lived in peace and plenty. So he became very rich, and he lived his rest of the years very peacefully with his wife, and both he and his wife lived to a green old age. Green here means very healthily and very actively and very prosperous life. So he lived a very prosperous, very wealthy, very rich, very peaceful, uh, very good life, and the rest of the years were um lived very nicely for both of the old men and women. So whatever they did good to the dog, it came back to them. So this story tells us that be kind to even the smallest creature around you. Never hurt someone, be it a person a human being or animal or any creature that is present in the earth. So never harm anyone for your uh, own fun, never harm others, and never do any wrong thing, so you will also not be in any trouble. So if you will be good to the people, you will also get the happy ending. So the end that the greedy couple got was very bad. Because they were bad, the bad happened to them. So this story was uh, taken from the Japanese folklore. It is a Japanese tale, and here it is written by, it is uh, narrated in English, it is written in English by William Elliot Griffiths. So William Elliot Griffiths is the writer of this story. It is a Japanese tale, as you can uh, see in the story also. So this was your story. Hope you have understood and liked the chapter. It is a very nice, very fun story, a very a story of very high moral and values. So you must also follow these in your life. And if you have any confusion regarding the chapter, regarding the question answers or anything, you can ask me in the comment box. You can write in the comment box, or you can message me. So keep on watching the videos that I upload, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and do wait for the upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching the lecture. So thank you once again for watching my video.